Though it's that Cameron Edwards getting around the outside of Michael Whiting there, yes. Michael Whiting just falling back as Dave Coleman's making a move against him as well. As we head down to the first of the big braking areas. And they're 3-4 wide as they go down.
No contact? Nah, looks like it's pretty good so far. Everyone's kept it clean. That's good.
It certainly does look clean right there, yeah. Nah, excellent. The guys have survived the first part, but there is lots of walls and lots of turns. We have a 40-lap race for you tonight, so the drivers will need to pit for fuel. There is no compulsory pit stop for tyres. We'll have to see if these guys think they can get all 40 laps on the same set.
And do we go with the theory of last week like we did with one stop, or do they actually do two stops for fuel? Oh, that's in the wall. That was...
Who was it?
Was it?
Oh, Nathan Dorman. They've had some moments. We're going to try and have a look at them. Thanks to DSL Welding Services with this action replay. Have they come together?
Moves on. Oh, he's on.
Nathan's got yeah. Nathan's locked it up, and then he's driven through him. So that's...
Safety car?
I would think that they'd have to call out the safety car. There are requests for tyres coming out there, so I would not be surprised if this is our first safety car of the evening they're using. Maybe it was those bumps we keep talking about, buddy, because the car looked pretty unsettled as it come into the braking area.
I reckon safety car come out, maybe, just looking at some of those. Cars are peeled off, other cars are just weaving, maybe. Yes, I reckon it has, yep, so it has.
We are under yellow flags with the safety car out. So nice and early, we knew that was what was going to happen. Well, sorry, we suspected. I suppose we didn't know, but I mean, just looking at the walk around here, I think.
Big thanks to Pete again for driving the safety car yet again, as he always does.
Our race controller, and does a good job at it. I mean, we always like to think that we can race fair, and look at that, there's a few cars in the pits already that have had to tow. There's like 3 of them there. So who's that? That we have that Stephen Sinovich, Nathan Gore, and Darren Page. I think this is what actually happened to Stephen. I thought I saw a white car clip one of the walls. That car looks pretty good. So again, as you said, there's not too fast repairs tonight, so those cars will be back out on track soon, and I'm sure the plan will be to try and get them on the lap. 3 tyres is quite fast, and that didn't want to And thank you, Peter Morris, for your comment. There's okay, so you know, that's good to see. There's no bigger heads or anything, so it's colours for the supercars. You get to choose your colour, and they try to keep the tyres the same colour, you know, just for the broadcast across probably the many leagues that the fishing boards are involved with. Certainly a pleasure to have them with us. Alright, so it looks like the safety car is leading the first of the drivers that have gone down a lap past, so...
Give them probably most likely be given the wave around, so I'll be able to get lap back. And of course they won't be in the front, but they'll be able to jump on the back of the queue on the same lap, so they'll still be able to get points and positions, which is good.
Well, I've seen the safety car stay that long enough that they can get right back around on the train, but you predicted 2 safety cars, and you're going to stick with that usually. It's first one's come out pretty early, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with 1. Oh, sorry, stay with 2. Sorry, my apologies. I'll stay with 2 safety cars. We already have 1, so I reckon I should be on the money with 2. So already halfway there. I could be wrong. Could go more, or could just say 1. You never know.
You never know. You do never know. I suppose that's the point of watching this live. You get to see all the great action and when it's happening, and then you know, jump in the Discord channel afterwards and have a listen to the boys talk about it. I'm hoping sort of moving forward in the future we're able to bring some of those chats to the broadcast as well. So and try and get all the drivers more involved in the series. So Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome once again to SRW TV. Tonight we are pumped to present round 9 of the SRW American Invasion Formula 3 series. It's Cowie, your average sim racer here, together with Tyson McAvoy on comms and Chef Toddy behind the scenes looking after the cameras on tonight's action. So an 820-mile journey has seen the cars and crew travel through Mississippi and Dallas to arrive in Texas at COTA, a track that is difficult to master in any car. You would know the first of that, Tyson. This is not one of your favourite places, buddy?
Yeah, definitely not one of my favourite places to drive a supercar here. Maybe a open wheel, a different story, but yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to have a crack at that.
Well, that's it. This is the home of Formula 1 and MotoGP in the US. It's a Grade 1 FIA circuit, a very technical track, but a lot of time is on offer if you send it around here. So expect the drivers to maybe take some risks, maybe in the quali, maybe in the race as well, because there is a couple of places that if you can cut that corner and maybe take the 1X, it's going to make up big times if you can avoid the slowdown gods.
Yeah, this track, my favourite part of the track is the short version of the track. You know, the back end of the circuit with the big long S's and stuff. Yeah, not a big fan. But for these boys, as you said, it's if you get that little 1X, the big lap, it can hurt in quality. Come race time, you might want to push those limits a little bit more to go and get a better run onto the back straight or even through the S's.
One of those places that has an iconic, first corner. I mean, that climb up the hill and then what is about a 120-degree turn where you come back down a hill. And as we can see, Greg Leak there finding some difficulty there. But it is such an awesome corner, and that elevation change just feels great. It almost feels like you're trying to take off in a supercar as you go up that hill, which I love.
That's right, and especially in these little things, it's going to be, they've got aero. They're downforce, you're coming out of pit lane, it's just going to be a massive hill. It's a small little car, but a massive hill, so it's going to be interesting to see how many cars we see, 3 wide, maybe 4 wide, turn 1. I'm going to say safe bet and go 3 wide. What do you think, Gary?
Oh, look, there is a lot of space there, and there is multiple angles and lines that you can take through that corner, I think, as well. So, but yes, the Lara F3, basically an upside down aeroplane. So it's all about the aero in these things. So yeah, it's going to be interesting tonight. We've already seen a fixed setup with tonight's race. So cars are limited to 70% fuel, 1 fast repair. And that will mean that all of these guys in quali have got to sort of burn down that fuel level, try and take it easy for 2 or 3 laps, get the tyres up to temp, and then have a go and see if they can send it around here, keep it out of the walls so you don't have to start with a full tank again.
Yeah, that's right. You got to really want to push the car. I did it the other night in the Radical. I just stayed out the entire time at Belle Isle, Concrete Canyon, didn't push until the end, and just missed out on my pole position, but it was just the safe bet. Same with these guys, fixed it up, you want to burn that fuel, and as we see Corey do a 156.5, and he's got a nice gap now to P2.
Look, Corey McFarlane is our resident alien in the F3, has shown it this season so far with some blistering drives, and again straight to the top of the tree, about 1.5 seconds ahead of his nearest competitor at the moment. Chris Ireland with a 158.3, Cameron Edwards with a 58.4, and then we get back into the 59. So I think before the broadcast you thought there might be a bit of a spread tonight with the times in quali for tonight's field, because it seems that these cars, it's a purpose-built F1 track built for this style of car. The guys that have really got that down pat are going to take full advantage tonight.
Well, yeah, I think so, and it's about who's going to use their car to the max and rely on that downforce. It's a very hard track to race, and then if you got the grip and the confidence in the car, then you're going to get a lot more time, as we see Corey. Just nearly 2 seconds clear of P2.
Crazy, mate. He has got some crazy pace in this machine, and he has shown it time and time again, week in and week out, that he's been with us. He has been helping his Send It Sim Sports boys, get some pretty good results. I think they've locked out the podium a couple of times this season already. And good to see Cameron Edwards back, because we missed Cameron the last, I think, was it last round or the last couple of rounds? But and he's one of those guys that's been running near the front of these packs as well, so great to have him back.
Yeah, as you see a lot of times at the moment as well, the boys are starting to get a rhythm, I think, get used to the track. We see Cameron Edwards doing green all his sectors and just about to cross the line and finish his lap, and Corey's just giving us a nice wave to the camera as he's on the back straight.
Looks like he's had a bit of an error at the last sector there for Cameron, because he's only come across, he's come across with a 58.1, so, but it did come up as an orange sector, so it wasn't his best, so he might be able to better that a bit better and get down into the 57s.
Yeah, when you go over the last sector, you got a lot of room on the exit just before the pit lane. You can run wide, but if you get a wheel an inch off, as we're right on board, we'll be able to point it out. If you just make a wheel off to the left, it will off to the right, sorry, it will give you the off track. So Corey's approaching it now. It's just a little bit of runoff. Looks like you can use it, but you use too much, as we saw the car in front do, and he's aborted his lap. I think that was Greg Johnson.
Well, he was Corey trying to take advantage of a bit of a toe there, I think.
Yeah, I think as well.
All right, so yeah, so Cameron Edwards up into P2. So we do have, is that 3 or Darren? Is Darren a Send It Sim Sports boy as well? I think no, Darren's not. He's a privateer, I think. So at the moment, it's 1, 2, 3 for Send It Sim Sports at the top of the qualifying so far. We are 11 minutes in to quali. Looks like you're still having issues with the top of your standings there, Toddy, so I don't know what's happening, buddy, but it's not showing up the time left in this session. That's alright, he's going to have a look at it behind the scenes there, guys. Hey buddy, is that ZK1WY? How I was driving? We'll just call you Z driving, buddy. Great to see you on the stream there, guys. If you are jumping on board and enjoying tonight's action from SRW TV, give us a shout out. Let's get some talking points in. Let us know how many safety cars you think it's going to be tonight. Do you have a number for tonight, Tyson?
Well, last week I said a 2.5, and I was right. We had 3 safety cars, so I'm going to say a good solid 2. I'm going to go with 2.
You're going to go with 2? Okay. I think that these cars are going to get broken. We've got 32 laps. I'm going to go for 3, so I'm going to pick one more, but I think that it's almost so far we've seen that, it doesn't take much to get it wrong, and although there's a lot of runoff out here, there's still a few places where, there's going to be danger of breaking up a car, so I reckon 3, buddy. Well, we'll see how we go.
Yeah,
again, guys,
those curbs as well. You get those curbs and smash them, that might destroy a wheel or bend a wing, and yeah, you might hit a fence.
Well, that's right. I can't remember what track it was in the V8 supercar, but I came in and had damage and didn't realise it was from smashing over the same curb every lap. Even the V8, if it's a big enough curb, it's not going to handle it. These are the left 3s that are sitting, millimetres off the ground and probably scraping along some of the big long straights and elevation changes here. They're not going to handle them at all. So I'm sure that they're off limits, but we know what happens when you try and push in these cars. Certainly get away from you. Well, again, thanks to our sponsors for tonight's race. The Promo Department is our safety car sponsor, and DSL Welding, of course. It is awesome to have them on as a major sponsor of Sim Racing World and Sim Racing World TV.
Yeah, without those guys, we wouldn't be here having a laugh watching these awesome battles on track, and you wouldn't be able to listen to me and Cowie have awesome bets about who's going to finish where and who's going to spin the most.
That's it. Well, we do have 12 drivers out on track, so good to see a few of the drivers that have been missing the last couple of weeks have come back. So Kota, it surprises me. As you said, it's not one of your favourites, Tyson, yet it seems that a lot of people end up owning it. So I think everyone's maybe given it a try and then gone, yeah, no, I don't like it. But I suppose you're not going to know that until you buy it.
Well, it's one of those tracks that you know, especially when the supercars themselves went there and raced, kind of opened the eyes to us. And you know, Formula 1 race there, but to see how, you know, you watch a Formula 1 car on track and then you watch a supercar and just see the difference in that. And now these guys, you know, obviously everyone's driven a supercar before here, and you know, you get to drive an F3 around here and flog it around, and it's fun. It's definitely a track that suits this style of car.
Oh, purpose built for F1, so you know, and MotoGP, so it's got sort of both of those elements in it. This track, they put on a pretty good party, I hear too. So it might be one of those bucket list item races to get to at some point in your life.
Well, now they've got the Vegas track coming soon. That's definitely going to be my track that I'm going to go to when I go to America. Texas would be a bonus, but they're going to be at 2 sides of the year, I think. So, and then Miami there as well. There's so many awesome tracks in America now that you know, F1 is building on.
Well, Drive to Survive has just, you know, opened the doors. I mean, you know, Liberty Media, I think the mob that run it, they had all of that in mind, and it's worked so far. So it's bringing new viewers to the sport. I suppose like what we're trying to do here with Sim Racing World TV, and get as many of you guys on board to say hi and give us a shout out and tell us who's your favourite, who you think might win tonight. I think Corey McFarlane. Oh,
unless he has an off, it's going to be pretty hard to beat him. He's, you know, done it still. He's got his nice 56.529 there, and then in the background, I think we got who's second there.
Chris Island is still
Chris
holding.
Island, okay.
58 flat or 58.07. Cameron Edwards with a 58.18. Did a 58.22 on the last lap. So we've got 3 or 4 of the guys in the 58s. There's a couple more in the 59s, but I think, as you called it earlier, there's a bit of a spread with tonight's field because you know, it's definitely one of those purpose-built tracks that's designed for you to optimize the car and what you get out of it. And these cars are a car of confidence. You've got to trust the grip. And I think talking with Corey last week, and we even mentioned it, Tyson, I think you mentioned it to him or spoke to him about it, that it seems to be one of those cars that if you don't send it, it's actually possibly more dangerous to drive.
Yeah, that's right. I've driven a few of the open wheelers, especially with I did a few laps around Bathurst in a hosted session the other day in the F1 car, and I was slow, and I'm like, why am I so slow? So the next lap I went out there and just pushed it across the top of the mountain, held it flat the entire way. You feel like you can't do it, but as soon as you do it, you find all this time, and the difference is there. But you gotta push yourself to go, I can go flat through these corners, and these guys will be doing the same thing, and it's all about learning.
But that Mercedes W12, mate, is a insanely stupid car. Like,
it is a beast. It's a lot of fun.
It just sticks, mate. It just sticks to the ground everywhere. I think you've almost got to overdrive it to send it. You know, it's crazy. Whereas I think these things create a little bit, require a little bit more finesse, I think. But still, you know, the same principles apply. It's all about braking in a straight line, trying not to apply too much brake or throttle as you're turning. The tyres, the best way to think of it is the tyres have 100% grip, and you can use that grip to accelerate the car, decelerate the car, or turn the car. Anytime you try to do more than one of them, I should say, then you can't use 100% for either of them or any of them. So it's all a compromise.
If you're pushing that limit, you might as well be in pit lane going trundling down, because if you don't push, you're not going to get that far. As we see, like, you got to smash the curbs and use all the track, but you know, within the limits as well. And those curbs and those S's out of turn 3, if you hit those curbs just a bit, it can offsettle the car and spin you around. I don't think we've seen anybody do it yet, but come race time, I have a feeling that will happen.
I tend to struggle in sort of the open wheelers. Is that generally because, you know, trail braking's not a big part of driving them? It's all about just mashing the brakes, braking as heavy as you can in a straight line.
Yeah, because it's got so much downforce, so you can, you know, brake in a straight line and just throw the car in, and the natural grip should hold you in the corner. As we see here, it's a great onboard shot as he just taps the brake, gets the front end turn, kisses the curb, and is points out the other side.
Yeah. And and it's almost like you're using that big sort of maybe a secondary tap on the brake just to get the car to sit a little bit more or turn in. We've seen that the guys have struggled sort of some of the tracks with the rear of the car, but that all comes down to throttle application really. So you can get it pulled up nice and easy. It's all about how careful you are coming out of the corner.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it just seems to be that, I mean, again, we spoke about a car of trust, but I just struggle myself, I know, just to find where the edge of that trust is. It seems that, I push and push and push until I've gone over it, but it doesn't give me a marker of where it is. That's probably the hardest thing. So, I mean, I suppose it comes down to experience in driving these style of cars.
Well, if you go out there and you literally, as we see on the side here, send it and you push the brake marker. So if you think you can brake at the 50, just do it. And if you can't brake at the 50, you pull your braking markers 20 meters back. But if you brake at the 100, you might sit at the 100 for the entire thing until you see someone else brake later. So when I'm pushing or learning a track, I'd rather just always test my braking markers first and brake as late as possible. And if I outbrake myself, I know I can't brake there. And then you can at least bring it back. But bringing a brake marker forward is so mentally hard to do. So it's best, for a tip to say push harder, brake later. But if you have to bring it back, it's just easier that way. Especially in a car like this where you can brake sometimes at the 75 meter, 50 meter instead of 100.
That's right. Freakishly late is what you meant to say there. But again, the other problem is that when we do this sort of practice, we don't think about the tyres. As we've said before in these things, you've got to give them 3 laps to get up to temp. And you go out there and try and send it on lap 1, then that's not going to give you any useful information. So, and then if you keep hitting walls and binning it, then you're having to keep restarting again on cold tyres. So I can understand why it can be hard for some guys to really get to find where the limit is in a machine like this, and the times on the board seem to sort of reflect that.
Especially if people haven't really raced these cars before and they might not know about the tyre situation, how cold they are. They might just think the car and the setup is bad, but yet they haven't actually warmed their tyres up. These boys have been racing, as you said, for about 9 rounds, so they'll be kind of used to that, but it takes a while to have the grip, the confidence as well to drive the beast.
We've also seen that, you have cold tyres at the start of the race, and when can you make the best moves to get position? Generally at the start of a race.
Exactly.
So you're always going to have those people that test the limits of their cold tyre driving. So, but I suppose that's what makes the racing exciting too, because you have got those guys that are prepared to just, help every leather send it, and if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, well, I just hope they don't take anyone else out with them.
Yeah, like as we saw last night in the Radicals, there was a lot of people that were a bit nervous on the cold tyres, and there was people that were not so nervous, and they sent it, and it was good to see. But someone named, we won't mention, spun on the first lap because he was pushing too hard, and it bit him in the back. But it was
these things do happen.
Exactly.
And we get that rush of blood once there's other cars out and around us. I know myself, Tyson, I'm a racer, not a hot lapper. So, I tend to, I suppose I practice and try to find pace, but I'll get to a point where I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at the moment. And I might be happy with that and feel I'm ready to race. But, some guys are prepared to just keep putting in laps and laps and laps. It's always hard when we drive in multiple series and multiple races, multiple tracks, multiple cars, all that sort of stuff. But we tend to have our favourites, and I suppose that's where you go back to when you're just going to be doing that practice, trying to find those limits.
And Belle Isle is one of my favourites. It's a track that you can give you a lot, but it also hurts. And I think last night I didn't take one single crash into the wall at all. I kept my car straight, and some people had a very tough race, and it's going to be the same with this track. It's very open. Some people are going to use all the limits and might get 10, 20 off tracks. Some people might not use limits at all. But you know all about Belle Isle, don't you?
Oh God, don't talk to me about Belle. I hate that place. Oh
But I'm
God.
going to point out a very awesome feature about this track. Some of the corners we can't really see from this view, but there's pillars that will say that corner number for the drivers, which is an awesome little feature for this track. You
Race
mainly
control's
see
gonna be
them
more.
on the right side here. There's a big one that's got the number on it. Every corner has something so the drivers this is turn 20 as they come into it to the last corner as he drifts it and spins out of the last corner.
I think it's probably more going to be race control that'd be happy with that, wouldn't it? All right, looks like we have talked our way through quali completely, just letting the drivers try to find their limits, and it was good to see guys pushing there at the end, trying to find those times. We just got the last few cars coming over, and looks like race control is giving out his spiel to the drivers now, as we'll got a couple of minutes of just to give the remaining cars out on track a chance to finish their lap, and then we'll get into tonight's race. 32 laps here at the Circuit of the Americas. It's a 70% fuel limitation for the cars this round, so I doubt they will need more than one pit stop. One fast repair available to the drivers, and as you can see, just got the details up for the track. It looks like it's was at 23 degrees. Is that on track? I think it must be. Or 21 degrees on track, 23 in the air. Yeah, 23 on track, 21 in the air. 63% humidity and a fair bit of cloud cover, though. A strong breeze. I'm not sure which direction that's coming from. Wonder if that's a tailwind or a headwind down the main straight.
Yeah, well, the drive might be a big thing to play as well today. These cars do like the tow, and if it's a tailwind or a headwind, it's going to make all the difference down the back straight.
Well, yeah, the tow has been a massive part of these cars, and the Radical to a certain extent as well, where they seem to really sort of punch a big hole in the air, and as soon as you start to get a couple of them together on track, then they'll, create an even bigger hole in the air, and the car behind gets an even bigger advantage. I think, was it at Barber last week, they were saying that it was, getting out to like 1.6. They were still getting the tow at 1.6 seconds from the car in front.
Yeah, it's going to be a big difference here. Nice big front straight.
Well, yeah. It's going to be crazy. All right, so looks like we have come to the end of quali, so we'll see if Toddy can bring up the standings as we wait for the cars to grid up. He's waiting for SDK to play ball. Thanks for that, Shibby. Looking on the Facebook stream there. Glad to hear that it sounds good. Oh, I see you've decided to put an appearance in on YouTube as well, buddy. So just can't get enough of SRW even on your night off. I think he's just happy that I think his indoor soccer team had a big win tonight, didn't they? So.
Yeah, was he sitting on the bench, was he?
Oh, I don't know. Alrighty, well here we have the grid for tonight's race, round 9 of the American Invasion here at SRW for the Formula 3. So it is Corey McFarlane on pole position with Sendit Sim Sports with an absolutely crazy time of a 156.529. You might have to have a look up through the race, Toddy, and see if that's a world record or not. Chris Ireland in P2. 1.5 seconds back, so Chris did manage to get into the 50. I think he's just done a 58 flat, so just missed out on the 57s. And Cameron Edwards, so all three Sendit Sim Sports boys taking out the first 3 spots on the grid. Darren Fahey, who has shown pace in these cars, has had a few moments, but he's quite fast in P4. Nathan Verney with Locked On Racing in P5. Nathan, again, another one of those guys that's had some good races and some not so good races. Adam Simpson with Fishing Motorsports. Good to see Adam back again. His teammate Dylan Thomas behind him in 7th. Daniel Weaver, Sendit Sim Sports in P8. The Sinkovich brothers P9 and 10. And Team Greg of Greg Leake and Greg Johnson in 11 and 12 as well. So we've got a Sinkovich battle and a Team Greg battle at the back of the grid, mate. Which Sinkovich are you going for tonight?
No comment this week.
All right, well, Stephen, I think, ended up with a better result than Dean last night. Oh, no, Dean wasn't it. Stephen finished P5 last night, didn't he? P5,
Yes.
6. Yeah, so, you know, he had a great race, but we have the cars gritting up, just waiting on the lights, and we are almost ready to get going here at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas, a track purpose-built for these type of cars. Hopefully it should be some awesome action tonight. 5 lights, when they go out, we are green, and here they go. That's a pretty good start. Looks like Chris Island got a great start, trying to take a wide run, maybe to slink inside his teammate through turn 1. Looks like all of the cars have gone away pretty cleanly there. Oh, a little bit of moving in the rear of some of those cars as the tyres protest when they're this cold. That's what you sort of expect to see on the start of a race out here, Tyson.
Yeah, and it was a pretty respect start. Not many people pushing the limits through turn 1. I was hoping for a 3, maybe 4 wide action, and it was only 2 wide, so
Well,
good driving.
Well, you did say there might only be 2 safety cars tonight, so that might be on the money. I was sort of expecting there'd be one pretty early on in this race, but there's lots of open spaces, but there are some dangerous points, and these F3s are a fragile car. Just having a look at Corey McFarlane there, seeing trying to get some heat. Oh, is that Cameron Edwards making a big dive on his teammate? Looks like he might have got that done, though they're coming down the straight. Chris Island can come back into the draft. We're about to see how powerful this draft is. Look at it. They're not even halfway down the straight, and he's getting an advantage.
Yep, he's just trying to push him off the track there and say, nope, I don't want you to come through. But the draft, as he saw, he just got it straight away, and he's folded back on the outside.
Oh, well, Chris has been able to get back in front there with a nice move, so good to see some action early on already.
Yeah, he tried the crisscross, the over-under technique there, and he was just a bit too far wide, but already seen some awesome battling.
Bit deep on entry, and it just compromises exit speed, and then you add the toe in as well. So, and you know, Chris was able to get that done with a fairly narrow angle as well. So,
but it's going to be interesting how these guys will attack. Oh, as we heard the car just bottoming me out there, just see how close he got to the spinning out still with these cold tyres.
Shibby's on Team Stephen apparently tonight, so that's 2 of us, buddy. So that means you're going to have to go with Dean just to be the odd man out.
I was going with Dean, I just didn't want to give him the commentator's curse like I have every single time. But no pressure, Dean, bring it home.
Well, you only want to give him those sort of curses when you're racing against him. And you stole a couple of podiums off him last week, didn't you?
if I'm racing against him, he won't go away, he just sits in the mirror. So, but if I'm sitting back and enjoying a race, he's just, spinning left, right and centre.
Oh, it looks like Nathan Burney got a move done on Darren Fahey there on lap 1 as well. So, again, as things sort of start to settle out on lap 2, it is Corey McFarlane with a 1.5 second lead over Chris Island. Cameron Edwards, here is the start. So, so he's just got a little bit nice inside run there on Darren Fahey. Darren's looked to try and sort of go wide. Just be careful. I think everyone being fairly careful there. The 2 fishy boys, they got fairly close together. Darren's tried to get it done up around the outside, but nice move.
Yeah, nice move there. And everyone was very mindful of their cold tyres. We weren't pushing too hard, not locking those brakes, because I think as we seen in recent past, not many people take the tyres. But with a long track like this, it will be interesting. You know, it's a 2-minute average for the mid-pack / front pack on laps, so you know, tyres could be coming into play later. Saving them.
Close here. Nathan Burney starting to put some pressure on Cameron Edwards, and that's just enabled Chris Island to step
that was close
clear a little bit.
Fishy.
That's Chris Island that spun there. So we might try and have a look at that and see what happened to Chris, but he has got going, so he's just lost some places. That's thrown him back behind Dylan Thomas, back from P2 to P7. So.
Yeah, I think it might be just a self-spin, this one. Yeah, he's lost the rear. You can see it already.
Yep, the rear's just rotated on him. And
he did a great job there to get out of the way.
He certainly did. No, excellent. That's great awareness there. Knew that there were guys close behind him and just get off the line, get off the racing line. Really well done. All right, and he lives to survive another day. And I think that's maybe the problem with me calling for 3 safety cars or predicting 3 safety cars tonight, because there's a lot of runoff area.
Yeah, that's right. And he got on the brakes as soon as he was off the track and kept it off the wall. And because there's a lot of runoff, you can kind of get away with high speed offs because, as you said, it's a grade 1 for F1 FIA. So it's meant for these kind of cars, the speed.
The speed, correct. That's right. And you know, so I mean, this car probably doesn't have the full speed of an F1 car, but you know, designed for something to have a runoff if they're doing 300 k's an hour. So that might give it a bit more space for a car that doesn't quite hit those speeds. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Yeah, but so far so good. It was a slow start to the race. Not much action apart from the spin, and these boys are setting their rhythms. And as you said, the toe will be very powerful. So,
Chris,
is there many spots to overtake you, Kelly?
Look, I think there is, and I mean, look, the two big straights are going to be the big ones if you get close enough under the toe. I think if you get into the toe onto the pit straight, you know, you're going to be able to make a move up the hill. And again, because it's one of those corners where you can take multiple lines and you know, various exits out of it too, so it can sort of keep that battle going for the sweepers following it too. So that's going to make good action for us, buddy.
Well, and I know the pit lane's a pretty tricky one, especially with these guys with high speed cars. I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone giving that a whack on entry.
Or in some races around here, that's for sure. Where it seems to give you a false sense of security. You think you can take it wide and sweep in really fast, but the pit entry just tightens up at the end. So you've got to remember that. If you don't, yeah, you're going to say hello to the tyre barriers of that wall there.
Yeah, I've done that in the past, and it's quite embarrassing because you're right. You think you've got great angle to go into pit lane with a bit of speed, and then all of a sudden it just gets narrow and whack through the wall.
It's like the rally game, you know, where the co-driver's telling you, you know, turn 2 tightens. You sort of need that information sometimes.
Oh, he smashes the curb there.
Oh, Chris is pushing hard, trying to catch back up to his teammates that are running P1 and 2. Daniel Weaver. Oh no, Dean Sinkovich, your money man. I don't think we can say commentator's curse because we weren't on board at the time, so you might have a reprieve there, Tyson. Oh, looks like he's made that mistake right in front of. Yeah, and Stephen he was trying to put pressure on his brother there, so might be a little chuckle from Stephen's cockpit tonight there. Seeing that?
Oh, I definitely think so.
Oh, there's a keep station on this battle between them, you know. So Stephen said, you know, the younger brother is got to try and put him in his place every now and again.
And as we saw the same, as we see, literally make the same mistake.
Now that's a commentator curse.
Makes the same mistake, and there goes Dean. I was about to make note of these cars must be really struggling in the rear, so these boys might have trouble with the brake bias, maybe too far to the middle. And you know, you're braking at a high speed like that does rotate the rear, so we might see a few more cars do that.
Yeah, it is a fixed setup series, so about the only thing you can actually change is the brake bias. So, and I know, sort of, I was doing some practice for twin ring Motegi for the V8s, and it seems to be one of those tracks you run a lot more front bias than you would normally at some other tracks.
In that car, would you change your brake bias much on the fly for a track like that, or do you leave it as
the honest answer, sorry, is not enough. Oh no, ooh. Stevens had a spin. Greg's done well to pull that up there, and I think did you just mention Cameron Edwards has had a big off as well, and he's gone back down the pack. So thanks for bringing that to our attention, Toddy, as we talk about brake bias. We'll get back to that question and answer, Tyson.
So he's in the same spot. Oh, he's running a very wide line there. You can see the difference in the colour of the circuit. We might try and get another replay of that, because you can see the difference in the colour of the circuit. He's like kind of ran offline there, I think, Howie, because you see the difference in the dark stuff to the grey stuff. And yeah, he just went around.
I know there's multiple lines coming up through there, so, but again, I think a lot of it comes down to carrying too much mid-corner speed, maybe. So you're asking the car to turn and carry speed.
Oh yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah, that's what's happened. He's just gone in a little bit hot, and he's tried to flick the car in there, and the rear tyres just didn't have enough grip to be going that fast and
Turning.
turn. Yeah, that's it. Because he actually got the front. He got the front pointed in there nicely. Actually, it's just
The rear didn't want to go.
well, I think maybe did you and I talk about it last week? Was that a similar moment from Daniel Weaver? Yeah, that's more a snap oversteer moment. That one,
Have you noticed? As soon as I mentioned it, everybody's doing it now. So commentators curse for the brake bias, maybe because it's literally a hot topic about it, and everyone's doing it. Because you get into that mindset of pushing, and then around you go.
Well, maybe they're listening to the stream and they heard your little cue. Oh yeah, I better change my bias, and now they've made the wrong change.
That was very slow spin there from Greg Johnson.
That's what it is. It's the rear. So it seems that the car seems to be pointing, and the rear are pretty loose. Now I know that that's a way that Max Verstappen likes to set up his cars for the F1. He likes a pointy car. I know that they've been talking a lot with Daniel Ricciardo about it, and part of the reason he's struggling at McLaren, they think, is because he likes that pointy car. I want to be able to get the nose in, I can control the rear. Whereas the McLaren seems to be more about that mid-corner and riding it through it, not snapping it in and having to catch the rear.
Yeah, then of course you change the setup to that, you lose a lot of stability in other places, which is probably what's going on. As we see a replay here of Adam Simpson, I think, similar incident, because you see him getting loose there, yep, and there he goes.
Just on the pace, a little bit too much throttle when the car is still, that centre of gravity is still throwing the car out to the right, so the energy of the car is still in the corner. Even though the car might be straightening out, you still got to think about that centre of mass of gravity is still trying to fly out to the right, so the car's already going to be leaning that way. So that's where you've still got to give it some chance, you still got to allow some grip to finish that turn off. And sometimes you just put too much throttle down and ask the tyres to do too much, and it spins.
Well, you can already see Corey has got a nice 14-second gap to the P2 of Nathan. So I think this setup for Corey, it's gelling for him quite well. And, he's doing the lap times out there, pushing, and he's got a nice buffer, and it's already on lap 7.
I think the guy has just got plenty of skill in the sim, and he seems to be able to drive the car no matter what type of setup we put him in it. But yeah, look, again, I think when you see multiple cars sort of losing the rear, it's sort of telling you that it's a little hard. You can even see it there, just with that slip angle that Darren Fahey had there, coming into the corner. The rear's already rotating on him.
Yeah, it's just about the car control.
It's just a matter about not abusing the throttle, I think, on exit, because, and as I said before, it seems to be that I struggle to find where that limit is. How hard can I do it, and sometimes you think you've got it, and then you're behind another guy and you watch him carry 10 Ks more through the corner, and you go, oh, how did he do that? And you try to do it next lap and it doesn't work for you, because the problem is...
Ooh, you see you down the inside.
Yeah, that was a great move. That's Cameron Edwards just taking back P4 from Darren Fahey. So again, the advantage of the toe there. But now we'll try and go full circle if we get back to the bias question. You're asking me about, do I move the brake bias during a race? My proper answer is not enough. I generally find that as fuel comes out of the car, I'm moving it back. Okay, so just to give it a little bit more rear, you can allow a little bit more brakes in the rear when the car's not quite as heavy, right? But the pros are the guys that are changing that for the corner type, so if they need to trail brake, they move it forward. If they need the big braking zone, put it back as far as they can without locking it up. And then the corners in between are a mix of that. But if I start doing that, man, I'd forget it. It'd be at the trail brake setting for the big heavy braking area, and then I'd lock up, That was a pretty good catch for Nathan Burney there too.
Yeah, it was.
That car squiggled on him.
He was doing a nice little tweak of the exit there. But these
Chris
boys
Island.
are sitting in a nice little pack here.
Well, Chris Island did a 57.97 last lap. So the only other guy, but apart from Corey McFarlane, in the 57s for the race so far. And he's recovered from that spin and now putting pressure on.
We got an incident in turn 1 as well. I think we got a car off.
Oh, no, that might be your favourite driver. Has had a little moment again, I think, buddy.
Oh, it might be. We'll try and pull that up, but
Stay with this for the moment because, yeah, let's stay with this for the moment though, Toddy, because we've got, is that Chris Island looking to try and make a move on Nathan Verney. This is for P2. Cameron Edwards just on the radio there, so don't know if something happened there. But that's it. Look, Chris has got that done, and he is back up into P2. The only problem is, as Corey was a lot closer when he was here before.
Here. We got a car off.
All right, now let's have a look. Daniel Weaver has had a big moment, you said, and Dean Sikovich had a moment as well. So, Toddy, if you want to try and have a look at those replays maybe now. All right, so we do have the safety car out. That was Dean Sinkovich's spin, so he avoided damage. Stevens had a moment.
So we got the safety car out now, so we're just going to go over these little instances as we're watching the battle while the safety car is out. I'm going to pause the race, and that's going to be our first one of the day as we see Stephen have a little spin there.
Now we did have, it looks like all of the guys are looking to come into the pits to take advantage of this. So I think it was Daniel Weaver is probably the big one, Toddy.
Yeah, so pit stop time I think would be a good option. You know, we've done a few laps.
All right, so Daniel's gone onto the grass.
Ooh.
And he's clouted the wall, and that car's not going anywhere. That's why the safety car is out. And that was the fear that I had around here, and the reason I said 3 safety cars tonight, Tyson, because there is still a few moments where the walls aren't quite far enough away for these cars.
Yeah, that's right. So how many cars, Gowie, we got in the pit lane from that safety car?
We have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars pit. It looks like Corey McFarlane, Nathan Verney, and Dylan Thomas maybe were already past the pit lane when the safety car call came, perhaps. So they have not pitted yet. So
that's going to be interesting when it comes to our strategy because pit stop, it's key. You know, you can get your fuel done basically early, or you could do it later. So this is going to be 9 lap 20. Yeah, that pit window is going to be probably three laps away. So they're just short now, but it's going to be interesting who's going to pit.
I know Corey's going in, so perhaps he thinks he can make it, or he's just.
I think maybe he's getting forced to pit now. Yeah.
Well, but the fact that the other guys are pitted, you know, leaves him a little bit vulnerable, maybe. We'll have to see if Nathan Verney decides to pit. Yeah, Nathan Verney has come in, so Dylan Thomas, I think, is pretty much the only car. Dylan Thomas and Steven Sinkovich, I think, are the 2 cars that have not gone in.
Yeah, he's coming to pit lane as well.
Dylan's coming in, and I'm sure you're going to see, is it Greg Johnson and Steven Sinkovich are the 2 yet to pit. So we'll see where the madness all clears out, but Corey McFarlane had built up a nice little lead. Well, that is going to disappear. And I think that Nathan Verney and Dylan Thomas have maybe been able to leapfrog here by the looks of this. Chris Island has dropped back to 6th, but I think he had that little spin there.
Yeah, this rejoin's going to be quite close, I think. Oh no, he got out pretty clear.
Alright, so the safety car is...
He's on the back straight. I don't know why he's on the back straight. He could have waited for the leaders to come through, but he's on his merry way, I guess.
So Daniel Weaver just waiting for his tow, I would think, and then he should be able to use his fast repair and get going again. But he is down a couple of laps as a result, so it's going to make it a bit hard. Someone just asking about losing position, so I think, I think it's been interesting. Well, I think is that Chris Ireland has gone from P2 back to P6. He did have a spin that cost him some time, and I think because when the nature of the safety car come up, maybe the front runners had already gone past the pits.
Yep. So I think the
some
safety
guys
cars
were able to pit.
left early.
Other guys were able to keep going hard.
Yep.
And that's why the safety car has kept going around the track. Because otherwise, he didn't want the other guys to catch up and then get slowed down. Perhaps. There's that spin of Chris's. We did see that one before, I think. So, I noted that. But yeah, so, alright. So, Nathan Verney and Dylan Thomas have made a nice little jump up into P2 and 3. Corey McFarlane was far enough ahead. Cameron Edwards in P4, so has been able to recover from his earlier incident in the race. Darren Fahey in P5. Darren has been right in amongst it. He's just got caught by the toe a couple of times, I think. Chris Ireland in P6, so I think he was the guy that, perhaps it was that spin, because that looked like that was right in between the in-laps and out-laps of the other guys, mate.
Yeah, so you don't want to spin, especially out of, under a safety car or even out of pit lane. So, you know, the pressure is on. You want to push and try and jump people who are pitting in a different spot, and he's just, you know, pushed a little bit too early and had that little spin.
Well, that's right. When safety car's called, that doesn't mean you let off the gas. You want to try and get to the pits as quick as you can, and it just means you can't pass anyone.
Yeah, sometimes you get those drivers who are just taking it easy and don't want to crash, because as you can see, you can do it with just by leaving pit lane.
Well, also, mate, we've only got one fast repair tonight, so there's at least one car there that's used up his fast repair. So you only really get one get out of jail free card tonight.
Well, that's right, and you know, as we saw, you spin off, you clip the wall, and then it's a nice tow back to pit lane.
I think Steven Sinkovich avoided the pits, did he?
Yeah, he has not pitted, but he could be going for that long game, because I don't know if it's close to that window. For my calculations, the pit window probably isn't open yet for the finish.
You were saying it was around 20 laps. You felt they could get out of the tank. You were saying before. That's
right, but sometimes when you're standing and when you're driving, that number changes. So depends. It's a very long track as well. So
of course, you know, you sit in the tow. You're going to save fuel. There's also I don't know if you're really trying to save a lot of fuel in these cars, but then again, maybe these guys that are pitted are looking at that, because if they get another lap under the safety car, that does put us on to lap 11.
Yep. So
and if you clutch a fair bit of this, maybe.
I think they're good. They're definitely past that pit window. So unless there's another safety car, it's going to hurt Mr. Sinkovich a lot, because this safety car, you can save basically 2 laps of fuel.
That's right, and then, you know, you've been able to fill it back up to get 20 to the end, you know, and we've got 21 to the end at the moment. So, you know, if you can, but I see most of the guys here are focusing more on keeping warmth in the tyres.
Yeah, that doesn't actually warm the tyres, these boys, when they're weaving. It actually wears the tyre. So I always tell my drivers, you know, if you're weaving your tyres, you're just killing them. It doesn't keep them warm, no matter what car you're driving. It just wears the tyre, because you're actually using the tyre more in iRacing more than actually keeping it warm. The best way to keep it warm actually is to use your brake. But yeah, haven't
iRacing started putting a thing in the cheat code about people trailing the brake as they go around to heat tyres up?
Well, sometimes you can heat your tyres up and then actually make you spin.
I think, you know, you could do the accelerate brake sort of, and that's within the rules. But I think that there was a bit of controversy in the big GT3 leagues overseas about guys basically driving around full of, you know, half brake sort of for the whole lap.
Yep.
To warm the tyres up, and I believe
we're going green.
We are going green, mate. There we go. So it's all down on our leader, Corey McFarlane. Let's see when he goes. He is holding him back a little bit just to try and minimise that draft, I would
Well, they're
think.
past the control line, so I'm not surprised they haven't gone yet. Oh, they've gone now.
Yeah, is that the control line there though? Up the hill, maybe.
No, the control line. If you look on the map, it's the first line.
Look at that, Chris Island. Yep. Chris Island making a move there immediately on Darren Fahey. Darren trying to cut back and stay around the outside, but he will be on the outside for turn 4, is it?
Oh my God, he stayed there.
Yeah, no, through the almost too wide through the S's. Wouldn't try that in a supercar.
No, it's too high speed for a supercar. You'd be eating that curb, and that curb would probably send you to space.
All right. So,
no, we see another car.
That's
Gets it off the wall.
That's Cameron Edwards, who's just a bit of snap overs. Do you think? I think then.
I hope he's kept it off the wall. We've seen what happened last time someone went in the wall there. Oh, he's just monstered that curb.
Yeah, it's a bit too much curve there, I think.
And he has kept it off the wall.
Done well, but that is going to put him right to the back, and it looks like he's having a little bit of trouble turning it around as well. All right, but he has got going, but that's cost him 10 or more seconds from the back of the pack, and he's almost 20 seconds off the lead now.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt. Alrighty, the back with live action on board with Darren Fahey, our privateer. Darren does enjoy driving these cars. He's had a couple of good podium results in the season so far, and you know, he's had a couple of big moments as well. I think seem to recall a big one at Barber there. But it's you know, great to see Darren here, and it's good to see him pushing hard, putting some pressure on Adam Simpson. Yeah, there was a little tap there. Adam did well to keep that car because it started to rotate around on him. And we can see the battle up in front there, the 4 cars there, close, or 3 close together. Is that Chris Island looking to make a move up the inside of Dylan Thomas? I saw up the front there. Has he got it done? He has got it done. That's a great move there. Just confidence.
Yeah, used that toe well. He just sat behind and then pulled out and dropped down.
Well, this is a couple of times Chris has had to make his way through the field now, so he definitely has faith here at Kota tonight in these cars. And if we had having another look at that pass, you know, it was a great move. The toe assisted, but also he's taken a tight line through here and then used all of the track on exit and maximised the grip that he had available to him.
It was a very good move.
Awesome. So we are back live on board with Chris Island as he chases down Nathan Verney now. And again, we can see that Chris has some pace in this car. Just need him to clear Nathan and maybe take the fight to his teammate out front. We'll have to see how he goes about it here, buddy.
See him moving in the background there. I'm not sure who that was.
Was that Darren Fahey making a move on Adam Simpson? I think it was, buddy.
It's a good move there. I saw it in the corner of my eye, just down the inside, using all the drafts.
Again, thanks to DSL Welding Services for the action replay. Here we go, yeah, so just another toe-assisted one down the back straight. And you can see, yeah, Adam actually outbroke him a touch, but he had the inside line, and Adam went a little bit too deep there. No, he's come back and contacted. No. Oh, and contact again. Oh, no. That must have done damage to that car of Adam's. Looks like Darren might have got away with it, but definitely.
Yeah, we might try and get another look.
Oh, he's coming into the pits, so he thinks there's damage on that car. Have a look, go on board, see his steering, mate. Can we have a look on board?
And so he got the move done, and then I think they didn't expect him to be carrying this. Oh, he's definitely hit the brakes there a lot harder than expected. And
look,
then that
Adam
wing
just got caught out a little bit there.
Oh, wow.
So, not sure. We're going to have a look and see how he's got any left hand down on that car. Or Darren Fahey has come out of the pits. Daniel Weaver, oh no, he's fixed his car with a fast repair and he's had another moment as well. Cold tyres, so let's have a look at that. Let's hope he's been able to keep it out of the wall. Just the grass there, just the AstroTurf I think's got him there. Maybe a bit too much throttle on the green stuff. Looks like he's kept it out of the wall though, buddy. That's good effort.
All that matters is keep it out of the wall, keep pushing. You still see Steven Sinkovic has not taken his pit stop. Everyone else has taken their pit stops. Maybe the extra one because of a few injuries, but so far Corey's still out in front, leading the pack. He's got a nice gap, and you know the race again has now started to move out.
Chris Island is sort of lapping fairly close to Corey at the moment, though Corey did do a 58 flat last lap. Chris Island did a 57.4, so there's half a tenth. So he's not letting him get away, but he's not quite close enough to take advantage of the draft. Whereas Nathan Burney probably is still in the draft with 1.3 behind him. So I don't think Chris can completely focus on the battle ahead. He's going to have to, you know, keep a secret eye on his mirror and just, you know, try and get distance from Nathan to avoid that tow.
Yeah, these guys as well need to kind of work together. It would be a good option, you know, to try and catch maybe to Corey, because, you know, he's got that great speed by himself, and if these boys did want to push, even though they are teammates, but aren't teammates, it'd be a good strategy.
Well, the problem is it's Chris's teammate that's out in front at the moment, so I'm sure if it was Nathan out in front and Chris and Corey behind, they would be working together, as you said. And we see it sort of week in, week out with the fishy boys. It always seems that one of them runs cover for the other, and then they, you know, try to leave it to the point that it's just their 2 or 3 cars fighting for the win at the end, and then they'll have a go at each other. But until that point, the team tactics work very well, mate.
Well, that's right. And now we look at Dean Sinkovic up to P5. His last lap was a 2-minute 2:05, so he's cruising along. With 2 minutes.
Safety car now. I need a safety car for my Stephen call to come to fruition, because I think he might have missed a trick there by not stopping during the pits. Sorry, during the... it looks like race control has just called out a drive-through penalty. I'd say that's going to be for Adam Simpson going in the rear of Darren Fahey there, yeah. So unfortunately he said copy, so he understood that it was his mistake and he's owned it. It's about all you can do when you're making buddy, isn't it?
Well, that's right. Some people, you know, make contact, don't like the penalties, but you know, without the referee or the race controllers there, you know, it wouldn't be as interesting or fair out there. So, you know, sometimes he's got to wear it. Adam knew that straight away, as he said, yeah, copy.
Well, 24/7 race control looking after things tonight. And again, you know, yeah, it's also, I know in the car, you know, I've had moments where it feels like the other guy has turned in on me, or, you know, closed the door and all that sort of stuff, and then you look from those other camera angles and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't give him much of an option there, did I? You know, so, yeah, I think it's heat of the moment, and sometimes, you know, it looks different in the cockpit than it does from the outside.
That's right, and that's why it's good to have these race controllers in there, and have that third opinion, a non-unbiased opinion, and hand out those penalties if needed, or bring up the manual safety car, which is an awesome little, you know, bit to the racing.
Well, that's right, again, too, you know, I mean, it just enables us to shorten the time that the safety car gets out there. It also means we can use the safety car in short bursts to, you know, bunch the field back up and not lose too many laps under a yellow.
Yeah, it brings that extra bit of, I wouldn't say realism, but simulation to what we see in real life. So it's a cool little feature that people have been using now, adding an extra car in there and using that as the manual safety car. As long as it doesn't spin, as we hear in our ear that Dean Sinkovic has just
No, Stephen, isn't
crashed.
it? Oh, Dean, no. Oh.
So Dean has, and I've only got the end of it there, so we might try and get a better angle.
No,
He's
that's
gone
where he
again.
spun it there. Yeah, he spun it there.
So is he
Alright.
at 2 offs there?
Don't know, Greg Leak with one as well. I know. He's had that off there. That's where
Because he
Greg's
seemed to
gone
be
through.
he seemed to be rolling a bit slow there, and then he's come back on, and
Oh, he's just stayed out of it there, maybe. And then he spun it again here, so
it sounds like his car might be rattling, unless that's just the sound from the chopper. But
just again struggling to get those rear tyres up to temperature maybe after the safety car. We tend to see that these moments are like that. That's the gunk and stuff that he's picked up.
yeah, it's sounding pretty odd there. But he's just come in very slow, and he's lost it again. So you know, it could be damage.
Something's broken. I think you're
Because
right
you
there,
might
buddy.
smack a curb and then it destroys the rear. So yeah, a bit unlucky there for Dean. I'll give him a tops, and there he goes. Well, here's a spin.
Those yellow sausage curves going through the S's there, they are vicious curves.
Yep,
Don't
and
want to be
he's just
anywhere
going
near
slow
him.
here as well behind his row. So yeah, it could be damaged.
I think so. But he's managed to keep it going. Looks like it's alright in a straight line, but that maybe the rear end's wobbling on him.
He doesn't sound full throttle, but
Yeah. No, that doesn't sound healthy at all. Alright, well let's go back and have a look at our live action. It is Corey McFarlane now only 0.4 in front. Oh, is there a safe? No. Chris has caught back up, so Corey's made a little mistake somewhere, has he?
he could
Or
also
he's
be
had
saving
to-
that fuel, because as we were talking about with the fuel numbers, I thought it was
yeah.
quite close. So it could be close. It could be like, I'm unsure.
Yeah. Might have taken a big chance there to just coast for 10 seconds and save a big chunk of fuel.
Or you might have had a slowdown. You know, this track does give you slowdowns.
And I can't see anything on SDK telling us what's happened.
The Chris is really pushing here, as you can see, and getting very loose here on the
I've got
exit.
Corey passing Chris Island, so what happened? So, yes, I don't know, something's happened there, but we can see him now at least be able to put a bit of pressure on his teammate. Well, look at that car float through there, mate. That was sliding. It's going to be a track where tyre wear is going to be more of a factor than we've seen in these cars, Tyson.
Yeah, as I said at the start of the race, it's been pretty hard to say with where the tyre wear is going to be and if it's going to actually come into place. So it's going to be interesting there.
Yeah, but we just on those couple of boards with Chris, and he was floating the car through the corners there. That's sort of what you're told not to do when you're looking after tyres, isn't it?
Well, that's right. You're going to try and save those tyres, not push them and bleed them out and burn them off. But when you're behind someone, it's a bit hard because you're getting that dirty air. You could be understeering, and you just got to keep the car straight.
Well, I think that's what happened to me on Monday night, mate. I ended up chewing them up pretty early, and then I just had no pace. All right. So Adam Simpson's made a move on Greg Johnson back in the pack, so that's a good move. Let's have a look at that. Oh, was it? Greg's had a moment. So let's have a look at that, and then we'll probably see Adam come through at the end of it. Greg did a great move to avoid. Was it Stephen spin earlier?
His entry, even that first right-hander through that S has just set him up, and then
it snapped over. Yeah, and that's where Adam's gone through. Yeah, snap oversteer, and I'm a guy with a direct drive, so snap oversteer could probably throw me out of my rig sometimes with how violent it can be.
I could just picture that you're holding it, turning into the corner, and all of a sudden you're flying out of your chair.
So Dan's in the chat in YouTube, so you're out, buddy. The car's dead, I'm gathering, and it's going to be a long pit. If you're in the Discord still, buddy, if you want to come down to the green room and we can have a chat with you on air if you're up for it. Otherwise, mate, type your response in and we're happy to have a chat with all of our viewers. But yeah, that's sorry to see, buddy. And yeah, the one fast repair, we did sort of note that puts you on wood, and these cars look a bit tricky out here tonight at Coda.
Yeah, they look pretty loose in the rear, and if you're not pushing that, 100%, it's kind of costing you with the little spins as we've seen.
Well, Daniel's come up to the green room. We're going to have a look at an off track, so I might just hold off bringing him in at the moment. This is Greg Leake. What's happened here, Greg?
There's a loose the rear.
Yeah, just lose
See
the rear
that rear
again.
going. It's as we just saying. It must be the setup for this track. And a lot of the boys are, probably haven't done many laps and really struggling to get to grips.
Oh, well, let's have a chat to one of the drivers who's fallen afoul of it. So, Daniel, we bring you to the chat, buddy. It's not the race you were hoping for tonight, buddy.
Oh, not really. Had no idea about what the setup was like, and just thought, I'll jump in, give him a crack. And I was doing all right, and then just went wide at turn 9, I think it was, and forgot about the I got a little bit loose coming into 9, caught it, knew that I had to run wide to save it, and then
forgot that the grass ends comes grass there.
Yeah, the bitumen ends, and then it comes back to grass, and I hit that, and then just went pear shaped very quickly.
Passenger after that one, buddy.
Yeah, and then I hit one of the yellow sausage curbs coming through the S's, and the car just didn't feel right. So rather than staying out there and bringing out another safety car, I just thought I'd retire it.
Fair enough, buddy. Yeah, they're a bit evil, those yellow sausage curbs in the S's. They are.
Yeah, especially on this track, they are coming through some of the other tracks. You can hit them and bounce off them. But
not these ones, no.
At this track, it doesn't matter what car you're in. If you hit them, you're going for a ride somewhere.
I was going to say that I drive the V8 supercar and it normally eats curbs for breakfast, but not these curbs. You stay away from them even in that car.
Definitely.
So the setup tonight, Daniels, we can see quite a few of the guys are sort of having trouble with the rear of the car. It just seems to be fairly easy to snap around on you. So it looks like it turns in well, but it's hard to control the rear when you do try to flick it in.
It feels good for the first couple of laps. Obviously, like on cold tyres, it's a little bit average, but as the tyres warm up, it's okay, and then it just disappears again. Tyre wear is not too bad, but it just seems like it's just getting the rears really hot, and they just go nice and slippery on you.
So again, if you push too hard, you just cook the rears, and then you've got no grip.
Yep, exactly.
Steven Sinkovich, just watching Steven Sinkovich with a little spin there. Looks like he maybe tried to carry a bit too much speed, didn't realise was that Dean in front of him broke a little bit earlier, and he had to snatch the brake to avoid hitting his brother.
That was someone else there. So I just got a question. How much fuel per lap? Like, have we got 20 laps of fuel in the tank? Because I'm still trying to crunch numbers on the fuel numbers there. So
I'll just have a quick sticky beak at my telemetry. I was using just under 1.6 litres per lap, so
70% tank. So what's the full tank in these things?
I think 20. You'll get 20 laps out of them easy.
Yeah.
When I think
that window then for that safety car is going to be really tight as we thought as well, Cowie. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to have that splash.
It is going to be tight. I think a few of the boys were talking 7 or 8 litres. So it could be
being short, or that's how much you'd need in the stop.
That's how much you would need to take in the stop now to make it to the end.
Right. So they went in at lap 11 and they used 1.5 a lap. 1.6 a lap was that? They went
splash
9 and lap 10. So 1.6, yes, and maybe 11 or 12. Yeah, 8. I think you're right, Tyson. I think maybe the guys with a bit of experience might be able to get to the end, but we might see some of the mid pack that are pushing hard struggle.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Awesome, Daniel. Well, man, it's been great having you in to have a little chat, buddy. We might let you go now, but thanks for giving us a bit of insight there. And hopefully we see you next week, mate, and you can get a bit more of a handle on the car at a different track. Where are we next week? Laguna Seca, I think, for the last round.
Adam having a spin there as well.
Oh.
Yeah, no worries, boys. Catch us later.
All right, mate. Thanks very much, Daniel, and best luck for next week, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Oh no. So we've had a couple of Nathan Verney who's running up near the front. He's had a moment. Adam Simpson's had a moment. So we might try and have a look at them thanks to DSL Welding Services. See what happened to the boys. So this is Dylan Nathan Verney first, I see. Looks like it's something we've seen before, Tyson. Just the rear getting away from him again. And seems to be a common theme. Perhaps a little stiff in the rear of these cars, the setup. Yeah, almost a carbon copy, isn't it? I can see as you're coming up to the top of that hill, you know, you go sort of going uphill into the braking area, and then you come onto a flat, and that's when, you know, again, you haven't really had a chance for the car to sort of equilibrium its weight out. You're trying to get it to, you know, come from the front and go straight back to the rear, and yeah.
It also comes with maybe as well the driving line for some of the guys. You know, some might take a wide approach and swing in with speed, and it could send the car around. So it just depends. Like,
I think you're right. Well, we do have a little bit of a battle here on track. Was that Greg Johnson running in P7, Dean Sinkovich in P8, and Adam Simpson trying to recover in P9. These guys are about a minute off the lead, so that's how much their moments have cost them during the race. But in the tow,
as we see Corey in pit lane, I think.
Okay,
Yep.
so maybe he realised he was going to make it to the end. Maybe there is a little splash and dash. Let's keep an eye and see actually how long he's on the jacks for.
And if he takes tyres.
It has been... No,
As he misses his box.
Overshot it. Yeah, overshot it.
No, he's not
Okay,
taking
that was,
tyres.
that was a tiny little splash, yeah. So obviously probably a lap or two short. So you called it, buddy. You called it was going to be close.
Yeah,
Perhaps
the numbers didn't look pretty good. So
well, I think I would have pitted then and tried to take advantage, because again, if another safety car come out, mate, another 2 or 3 laps of, you know, clutching under the safety car would have been enough to get him home.
well, that's right. I think I'd go another 5 or 6 more laps and then pit. But of course, sometimes you don't want to play that risk.
It's unfortunate, but you know, it is sort of one of those strategies. Sometimes, you know, it's one of the things that makes racing in these sort of longer races. It does give it that extra nuance, because, you know, you do have to think about strategy. I mean, you look at the real game, and that's what those guys are doing. They're trying to minimise the amount of time the car's stopped, or maximise, you know, the amount of advantage they can get out there. The V8 supercars in Australia, they, you know, again, we saw guys going 3 tyres instead of 2, so that they had 2 new tyres on the loaded side of the car, and that was giving them great advantage. But then the tyre temperatures were too high that they couldn't really take advantage of it, you know. So yeah, I suppose it's just something that adds to the spice of motor racing, isn't it, Tyson?
Yeah,
You're a strategy man.
Everyone loves strategy, and you're right. I love my strategy, because I won't go into a race without having a solid plan of where I'm going to be with everything. So I'll plan a safety car, I'll plan a spin, and you name it, I'll plan it.
Is that Corey McFarlane with a moment? Let's have a look and see what's
Is this on
happening.
the exit of pit lane?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
Just
Yep.
looped it.
You see all the wheels spin out of pit lane, and you know, doing that to his tyres. Oh, we nearly got balked there too.
He snagged the wall a little bit, but don't think that's going to hurt.
Yeah, hopefully that hasn't burnt his tyres, because, you know, spinning the wheels at high speed like that, yeah, that cooks them up.
I think you're right. That's right. You know, I mean, you know, I know that I've found, you know, when, you know, you have a moment like that, you've got to give it sort of half a lap just for the tyres to get back to that operating window. Oh,
It's just turn 1 here as well. It's because it's such a peak. You just put some more fuel in, and you're approaching it at a different angle than you would normally. So you're coming up a very shallow entry, And he's obviously made that mistake. We've seen it a few times from the guys up front.
Gone through pit lane a bit slower than you'd normally be, so that's two cools the tyres down, and then you've gone deep. So we've had a moment from, is this Dylan Thomas? Oh, we are back live. Thanks for that, Chevy. Oh, no, Chevy, Chef Toddy. I apologise, buddy. I've got both of you. I commentate one night with you and Chevy on producing, and then you're producing this night. So, you know, that's why it's easy for me to mix you up, because I end up dealing with both of you. And a Y on the end, apparently. Okay, I get you. It's all good. All right, so things have been shuffled up a fair bit now. Christopher Ireland, 29 seconds up in front. Has he done enough to save a bit of fuel and get home, mate? Or is he going to just try and save what he can?
Well, I did make note before as well with Corey that I thought he was saving fuel. That's why that gap did close. He might not have been. He might have made a mistake. We've seen him already make one, so he could have made two. But that fuel, we did say it was pretty tight. So let's see how Chris can push and, you know, get home. We've still got, I think, 7 or 8 laps to go. So
yeah. So it looks like we're both probably going to get the safety car number wrong tonight, buddy, because generally when we get inside the last 5 laps, race control is reluctant to pull a safety car, except for, you know, the biggest of carnages in the middle of the track and cars not being able to go anywhere. If they have a moment, end up off the racing line, then race control just let the race keep going. I suppose that's the advantage when you don't have to worry about the safety of the drivers out there, do you?
Well, that's right.
But you can see here still these guys are sending it, throwing it through corners. Corey McFarlane has just made a move on Dylan Thomas, by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's a very good move there.
And Greg just trying to get himself out of the way of that little battle as well. With Greg Johnson back there, so he's done well to stay out of it. And oh no, we've had moments up front. Nathan Verney. So what's happened to Nathan? Oh, who are you going with? Adam Simpson first, are we? Adam Simpson. So it looks like we're coming up into T1 again, mate.
Yep, this is our P7 sedan. He's just come in, and yep, there goes the wheels.
Just lit it up. Yep, Dean's picked up that spot, so he's up into P7. Unfortunately, Adam is a lap down, along with Greg Leake, Steven Sigovich, and Greg Johnson. Oh, and I think that's a perfect example of what you were talking about, Tyson. He lit up the tyres to spin it round. They overheat, and then you try to get them to grip in the next corner, and they're too slippery. They're too hot.
Yeah, and he wasn't going that fast there. He's just, you know, burned them up and then spun around.
He's come into the pits. I wonder if he's going to go for tyres here, or is it just a little splash? So again, we're seeing that the guys that did pit on lap 9 at that first safety car aren't going to make it home. So I think it's only our leader at the moment, Chris Ireland, that is yet to come in for that second pit. Oh, Cameron Edwards as well, but Cameron is 30 seconds back. So...
And we've got 2 other, I think Dylan as well is now in a pit lane and taking that second stop.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to Steven. If Steven stayed out, and this is Sinkovich, if he stayed out on this first one, he could have got to the critical lap, pitted, and went home on the one stop. But, you know, he chose to pit on the other one, and he's actually done 2 stops now, so maybe he needs more sympathy of strategies in his ear.
Well, that's it. Well, it was Harry that was the man last night, I hear, buddy, that he made the awesome call that got you your P1 and helped you do the fuel save, get you home.
Yeah, he pointed out a really critical thing with the fuel numbers that, you know, I could get home. He didn't know the math, so I did the math under the yellow, and yeah, the math was good enough to get us home. So I pitted, and nobody else noticed it. So that's what got the performance in racing mobile home.
You did, mate, in P1 last night for the Radicals, and even your competitor out there, he didn't realise that you weren't going to pit, and he pitted when he possibly could have made it home. And battled you at the end there, so you ended up running away with it.
Yeah, pretty stoked with that win. I was pretty confident going in. I didn't want to, toot me horn to Scott because it's just a track I like. It's bumpy, it's fun, and if you get the lines right and you don't tap a wall, then you basically can bring it home in P1, which is exactly what I did last night. So it was a good win.
Chris Island's had a moment. Oh no, out in P1. He's had a moment. Looks like it's cost him about 9 seconds. So hopefully it's just
the last corner, isn't it? Oh, he's just kissed the
get
curb.
on the gas. Yeah, unsettled the car.
So I think we're noticing a lot with these rear tyres. It's they're just kissing those curbs and it's just sending the car around.
It's almost like you sort of wait.
Oh, that was going around.
But that's what we've seen a lot of weeks again there, throwing it sideways.
Yeah.
And it seems the car seems to be able to handle that. It's just on those heavy braking exit zones.
Yeah, because twice I thought Corey was going to bloody go around and he's just throwing it into the corner. And he's getting the grip because he's got the confidence to get the grip.
Well, he's just got past his teammate Cameron Edwards. I'm pretty sure Cameron didn't fight that very hard. And Chris Island, 20 seconds out in front, still yet to pit. So is he going to make it home? I think
As
that's
I said, if he saved fuel under the safety car, I really think he could have got enough in the tank. But you have to clutch it. You got to really save all the fuel to save those extra 2 laps, because it was, as we heard, it was 20 laps total, and we're 1 lap away from that bubble. And this track is very long, so you can save at least 2 laps under.
He might have been counting on that 30-second buffer, and that little spin cost him about 9 of it. So he certainly can't afford any more of them.
We saw a car off in the background there. Not sure who it was. We try and find that out.
Vernie, I think.
Chris is in the pit lane.
Okay, so he didn't have enough to get to the end. Wow, so... I think this is where Chris went off before. We've seen that, yep. And Adam Simpson has also entered the pit lane as well, by the looks of it. Both of them come back now. Chris Island has come back out. Oh, Corey's only 1.8 in front of him. So there it is, buddy. Without that spin, he would have been 7 or 8 seconds in front.
Yep, because you got to remember, Corey did have that spin himself, and it cost him a lot of time because he was in the dirt, he was in the weeds, and then he was balked on that little edge of the circuit there, and it took him a while to get back on the track. So you're right, if Chris didn't have that spin, we know where we'd be right now.
It would have been awesome to see that battle. Now we're just got to see if Chris has still got the pace and the confidence to catch back up on his teammate. Though Corey McFarlane did do a 156.5 on the last lap, so that's a fairly impressive time.
As we can see, these guys are pushing quite hard to get to the end of the race here, and we're seeing we got what 1, 2, 3, 8 cars still in the lead lap. So, and I think we've only got 2 retirements in this race now.
I am very surprised.
No, Daniel and Adam Simpson, there are 2 retirements. So.
Yeah, so at the moment it's looks like it's Steven Sinkovich that has still a lap down. Oh wow. Okay, so we're talking about 56s here, guys. I just thought I'd go and have a look at the world record for the F3s around Qatar, and the race world record is a 54.3.
Oh wow.
So even our resident alien is still a couple of seconds off the pace. So.
But it also comes with track temperature. That could have been on a really cold track.
Of course.
The percentage of the track at the moment was going in from practice was 37, and then it's 29 degrees. So track temperature plays a big part.
Well, that's what made it all the more impressive when we've sort of highlighted a few of the unofficial world records that some of the guys have picked up so far in this series, in quali and in race, that we've generally had warmer track temperatures this season for SRW, and I think it's more about where we are. We're in America and going through the American invasion in the heat of the summer.
Yep, that's right. Texas is known for its heat, so it's not surprising that it's a hot track here today.
Though 29 is not terribly hot. Really.
Some Americans would call that extremely. So
Well, true, but it is, that's track temp, you know, so, you know, it is a big space here, I suppose, and it'll take a fair bit of sunshine to heat this track right up. But, yeah, the official for Belle Isle the other night, I think in the race, was 47 degrees, so I'll take 29 any day, buddy.
oh, 100%, and that is a hot track. Like, you know, racing at night time this week and some of the official races in the Supercard's going to be fun because it's going to be a nice, cool track. But yeah, as we see, there's only a few laps to go, and Corey back out in the lead, and he's got a nice 24-second gap now. So that's really opened up.
All right, so it was Cameron Edwards that got through on Christopher Island. So, has Chris gone back into the pits again?
Yeah, well, that gap is 24 seconds now, so
Yeah, because
something's happened.
well, Chris was in P2 and only a few seconds behind Cameron, and then something's happened to him. So maybe we should have a look at Chris Island and see what happened to him, because he's fallen back there. Like it got Chris Island leaving into pit lane on SDK, but he pitted the lap before. So, was there 2 moments there? Let's have a look. Now, this is his earlier moment. We've seen this before, haven't we? Yeah, okay. All right. So
he could have really cooked those tyres there. And
well, his last lap was a 2 minute 16. And I thought it's almost like he's pitted twice in 2 laps. So has he damaged the car? But we haven't seen anything come up on SDK, so that might be a bit of a mystery one for us. Dean Singovich up 2 spots at the moment in P7. Corey McFarlane is just running away with it now.
yeah, he's back now to a nice, comfortable gap of 25.1 seconds as he crossed the line last lap. And there's only two and a bit to go, and you know the field's kind of settled in. We're both wrong in our safety car number, as you said before. We've only had the one, but you know, it's been a quite interesting race. You know, the boys are spread out quite easily, and then they bunch back up, and then we're back to being spread out again.
Really thought that fuel strategy was going to play a part tonight, buddy. You know, we thought Chris might have had it enough there at the end, and it was going to be a save, you know, and watching Corey chase him down. So that Nathan Burney with an aggressive line there, and I think that was one of the Singovich boys, Stephen, just getting well out of the way. So, but
was
Nathan
a good move,
sent
though.
that. Well, Nathan sent it like it was a move, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a great
That
move.
it wasn't a back marker.
Yep.
Darren Fahey is just trying to chase down here, and Toddy's telling us that Greg Leake has had a couple of big moments. So we might try and have a look and see what happened to Greggy. Team Greg, as Dano would say. Well, what have we got here? Is he just gone in hot?
Yep, there goes the rear.
Yeah.
Yep, so those rears are probably going to be cooked. And he's only got a couple laps to go. He's only a lap down. He's still pushing hard, P8. So it's still a good drive from Greg. You know?
Well, it has been sort of one of those nights here at Koto. I did say at the start of the broadcast that this is a difficult place to master in any car. And we've just seen tonight that the guys have really been struggling for rear grip and traction on exit, I think, and almost sort of also mid-corner speed, just carrying a little bit too much, and the rear steps away from you. And that, again, is maybe too much confidence in the car. But yet, as we've said before, Tyson, if you don't trust the car, you're going to be slow. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
But, you know, with this type of circuit, you know, not a lot of the guys would race these cars here, maybe. You know, as we're Australians and we love our Beathy Motorsport supercars.
Oh, Dan, okay. Dan Weaver our unlucky driver tonight, he thinks maybe Chris got a drive-through for incident points, maybe.
That could be a fair point. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll have a look at that.
If he's got over 25, then that might have been a drive-through.
And yeah, we can actually get the off tracks quite easy, but we're on the last lap now as we see Corey just, not pushing too hard, but trying to bring it home.
Can't see the incidents up there. Just
Yeah,
looking
my
at
incidents
the
aren't loading
iRacing.
either.
Yeah, perhaps because we're only in as viewers, but we are on the white flag lap, and it is Corey McFarlane well out in front. It looks like we've got space between all of the cars, so unless there's a mistake, this is our battle on track at the moment. P5, Darren Fahey trying to make a move on Nathan Verney. Going well up the inside. Oh, look at Nathan stepping the rear of that car out. But he has managed to catch it and get back onto the gas. But Darren here fighting hard. Let's just try and keep an eye of where Corey is going to be on the track, because he is just about to come over the start-finish line, buddy. So maybe let's have a look at the... Oh, he's in the... Yeah, in the final section here. So just about 4 more corners to go. And then hopefully we can go back and watch that battle over the line.
But it's a great drive again from Corey. He got pole position, had 1.5 second gap, I think, in quali.
Hey.
So he's just cruising home, and another good drive.
Yeah, 56.2 in the race is his best lap as well. 57.4 on his last lap, so he's just making it easy. But he's about to come over the line. Our round 9 winner, we hear his name once again, Corey McFarlane for Send It Sim Sports, with a great drive, finishing P1 for tonight's race. All right, Cameron Edwards still making his way out of the battle. Chris Island has caught up fairly close here. These guys are all from the same team, so it looks like it'll be another 1, 2, 3 from Send It Sim Sports tonight. Yeah, he was getting close, but I don't think he's going to try and battle his teammate on the last lap. Dylan Thomas is a fair way back here. Yeah, not going to be able to catch these guys, but he will bring it across in P4. Oh, Darren Fahey with a big moment there trying to catch Nathan. That is going to secure P5 for Nathan Verney for Locked On Lads Sim Racing. And Darren not giving it up. Trying as hard as he could at the very end there, just come unstuck, Tyson.
Yeah, it can happen. It definitely can.
If you're going to send it, is this Dean Singovich trying to coast home? Is he going to have enough?
I think he's already crossed the line.
Yeah, no, he's he has. Yeah, he was a lap down, so these guys have already finished. Awesome. Well, let's try and get our podium into the green room once again. A Send It Sim Sports 1, 2, 3 once again. I think it's their third lockout of the podium this season. All right, Tyson, if you want to read out the results, buddy, and I'll go and see if I can find a couple of the boys.
We got Corey McFarlane in P1 with a 29.6 second gap to P2. Big congratulations, Corey. And then Cameron Edwards in P2, Chris Island, Dylan Thomas, Nathan Verney, Darren Feeney, Dean Sinkovich. So the Sinkovich battle, Dino, well done. And Greg Leake in P8, Steven Sinkovich in P9, Greg Johnson in P10, and then I think we got our retirees of Adam Simpson and then Daniel as well. But a good race here. I enjoyed that call. It was a late call up for me to come into the com box again. This is 2 weeks in a row, but this series, every time I've jumped in, this is my third appearance here, and it's I've enjoyed it. It's good racing, lots of action, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, I mean, we've just seen that, even the really good drivers have struggled with the car from time to time. So it does make for some exciting racing, but I don't know if all of the guys are going to agree when their mistakes keep showing up, but, it's the nature of the beast, I think, this season. All right, let's bring all these boys in. Send it, Sim Sports 123 once again, boys. You must be pretty chuffed with that.
Yeah, not a bad effort, eh? That was an interesting one.
So that car looked a bit tricky at the rear. It looks just very easy to light those rear tyres up, and then you didn't have any grip. We saw all of you at one point in time have a little spin.
Yeah, that's right. The nature of the track and getting off throttle and all that sort of stuff, and getting the car light, etc., etc., etc. And it's just loops around. So it was actually pretty challenging out there tonight. It was probably one of the more challenging ones, to be fair.
Well, I did try and practice with the boys when the NASCAR trucks were driving around here, and I can tell you they were a handful. But let's get to tonight's race. So I'm going to talk to Chris Island first, Chris, because you were in front there, and we thought you might have had enough fuel to get to the end. What happened, buddy?
Look, I didn't have enough fuel to get to the end, unfortunately. Sort of just thought I'd run as long as I can to try and see if possible for a safety car. I was running very, very light on incident points as well.
So did we get a little black flag, did we, buddy?
Most certainly did. So I had to pit first off, and then after that got a black flag. And sort of went a bit downhill, and I think I spun the lap before I pitted as well, which I think starved me of a bit of a battle with Corey for P1, which would have been fun. But it was a tough night, challenging driving. But Corey got the job done at the end, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, well, Corey, you didn't sort of completely get unscathed tonight, buddy. Little moment there after your pit stop into T1. Just just a hard corner in these cars.
It's pretty bad, especially with all the low speed hairpins was, to be honest, shit house tonight. The way the rear of the car is set up and the diff definitely doesn't help.
So it's just a little bit too stiff in the rear and a bit too torquey.
Whenever you try and put the foot down, the just single pegs and sort of just wants to kill you, and then it's just
It was the same for everyone, buddy, and you made it to the top again. Were you egging Chris on there, asking him how close he was to the limit of those incidents?
Nah, I kind of figured we'd all be pretty far up there by the end of it, so it's very easy to get them around here, and especially with a car that's trying to kill you every corner. It's not hard to just run wide.
Well, we could see it sort of times where, as well, like through the S's and that, you guys were confident in getting the car a little bit sideways or throwing it through there, sliding it around, but it's just those big heavy braking areas, and then having to get back on the gas in a low gear. Was that the main issue?
Yeah, you can. I've helped. Like, that was my strongest area, the S's section through there. So it was just didn't really. I mean, it would step out, and after a few laps on the tyres, it would just there was nothing on the rear through there. It was just going and hope for the best. But yeah, it's a lot easier to catch a slide at high speed in this car for some reason. But as soon as you get that low speed over rotation, it's pretty hard to catch that.
Well, mate, you certainly managed to catch it and keep it out of the fence, which was the main thing, and bring it home in P1. Now, seeing we've got all three Send It Sim Sports boys here again, we'll see which one of you wants to take it away and give a plug to your sponsors.
Not me.
Okay. Well, in that case, I've got the sheet up, so let's rail them off. So, obviously, big thank you to everyone at Send It Sim Sports, Hobbs Trenching and Boring, PPS, ProServe Finance, Sydney Computers, AJ Insurance Services, Transform Media, Pixel Blocks, CD Cinematography, and 27 Designs. And also thank you to Race Control Broadcasting Team and everyone at SRW and the competitors, because we couldn't do it without yous, and it's really good fun out there.
It is awesome to watch you guys race, and we might be a bit sadistic in the commentary here, but we don't mind seeing you guys squirm around on those cars, because it does sort of liven things up when you're struggling. I don't know if I would be agreeing with you if I was driving in the series though. So now, Dan is been in the YouTube chat since his moment early on in the race, and he did want to remind you guys that it was actually a 1-2-3 and a 1-2 for Centre Sim Sports tonight because he finished in 12th. So there you go.
Nice, there we go. Yes, that is very, very true. Mr. Wade made an appearance tonight, which was awesome to see, and yeah, gave him had a bit of fun in there as well, and a bit of experience to see how it all goes. So yeah,
awesome. Well, it was good to see good to see the numbers were up a little bit more tonight. So I think there was about 13 of you out on track there, or 12 or 13 of you. So obviously we'd all want massive fields. And get them as big as we can, but it's all a work in progress, so hopefully we'll get there, and with you boys coming on board this season, I'm sure you've got your own followers out there, see if we can encourage a few more guys that you can drag along would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll. It's always the way, all the series and leagues will eventually build when the word gets out there, so if you've got mates out there that like open wheelers, or you want to just jump in and have a crack yourself, by all means, definitely come on board, because it's a really good community here, lots of fun, and yeah, what can I say? Bigger grids, the better.
And that's right, and it's not always about going out there and winning every race. It's just about trying something new, having fun, and meeting new people. Because that's why I met these guys here, and that's why I'm having a blast. In the combox once.
Right. Well, have you got any further questions for the boys, Tyson?
Just want to say how many trophies you guys got in the cabinet at the moment, because these have been up here every time I've been in the combox. So.
Yeah, how many fingers do we have? I don't know.
Good on you boys. Thanks for the entertainment tonight, and well done on the top 3.
It's still awesome. So I think that's the 3rd podium lockout you've had this season, boys. So, the Ascended boys have brought some promise and some pace to SRW in our F3 series. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'd say that is going to bring us to the end of tonight's broadcast of round 9 of the Formula 3 series here at SRW, our American Invasion. As always, don't forget to hit the like button and follow us out there on all the socials. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any of the action that will be coming up. On behalf of our management and broadcast team here at SRW and our sponsors DSL Welding Services and the Promo Department, we have Chef Toddy on our behind the scenes, Tyson McAvoy with me here. This is Cowie signing off, saying have a great night, and we'll see you next time on SRW TV.
Much love and keep safe.